panic, heartache, frustration. These are not words you'd normally want associated with the writing process, but for 3 brave writers, all struggling with a condition known as writer's block, these feelings are all too familiar. These writers have agreed to share their stories in the hopes of bringing visibility to an otherwise overlooked condition. This is, oh my land, if I don't get this written, I'm gonna lose my job!
Hello, my name is Annabeth and I'm 82. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to shake my newest main character out of my system. I'm Jalissa. I'm 28. I've been writing since my youth and I struggle with type A writer's block. What?
Jalissa is a method writer.
Everybody talks about method actors, but method writers are just as dedicated. We're just not as obnoxious about it. I must get in touch with, nay, I must embody my characters. For instance, in my most successful book to date, A Cavernous Mind, I didn't just write about a small child addicted to the scent of bat droppings. I was a small child addicted to the scent of bat droppings for an entire year. We method writers may not receive the adulation heaped upon method actors, but our dedication to our craft is every bit as impactful. I know, there are no words that can truly encompass something of this magnitude. What? If I wasn't a writer? Darling, writing isn't just what I do, it's who I am. It's my life. I would never turn my back on the art.
Yeah, my name's Ivan. I've been battling writer's block for years. Ever since I was young, I was really angry. But writing calms me.
At the tender age of 21, Ivan beat up a man holding up the line at a DMV. He was arrested, charged with aggravated assault, and sentenced to 85 weeks of community service and anger management.
In anger management, they made us write poetry. I thought it was stupid, but it was either that or jail. This shirt, it's been with me for a while. It's the shirt I got arrested in. So it's always had my back. It's my ride or die. I don't wear any other shirts. Turns out I have the gift. I'm a poet. I mostly write about my experiences in life and what makes me angry. So I'm a producer for multiple artists. This track, I'm producing for my cousin for his new album. Hey. Yeah, I think it's really well put together.
Ivan says that writing has changed his life.
I can't believe people would pay to read the stuff I write, but here we are.
Hey, while we're getting focus figured out, let's give our sound people some stuff to work with. Ivan, what would you do if you didn't write?
If I didn't write, I'll probably go back to fighting.
Oh. Okay, can somebody get me some?
I'm a changed man.
We believe you.
All right.
My name is Callie, and I have writer's block. I started writing when I was in elementary school. First, I wrote some small plays for the theater club, but then I got a camera and started writing for film. One of my middle school instructors suggested I enter my work into a competition, and I won for my age bracket. It was pretty nice. I was pretty proud of that.
Callie won over 200 screenwriting competitions, all before the age of 15.
I started noticing that it was becoming progressively harder to find any inspiration to write anything good starting around age 16. And by age 17 was full-on writer's block.
Callie has had an active episode of writer's block for over 10 years.
Well, I know what I'd do if I wasn't a writer. I work in the web design, which is what I do now. It pays the bills.
Now that we've gotten to know our brave survivors and what they have to lose at writer's block's hands, what exactly is writer's block? For this and more, we turn to our medical expert, Ramona Kinsey.
Writer's block is a disorder that prevents writers of all kinds from being able to do what they love best, usually in one of two ways. The better known of the two is type A, which is where a person will no longer generate the inspiration necessary to write, but there exists another type called type B, where the person will still have inspiration but will find themselves unable to figure out how to even begin to bring that inspiration together to form a story. Many writers experience an episode of writer's block once or twice, but if it starts happening over and over again, then it would be classified as chronic writer's block.
Obviously, by the length of time I have chronic type A writer's block, so I haven't really anything in value in about a decade. I was so used to being able to crank out a screenplay on the spot that it really shook me when I started to have trouble. I wasn't so sure what was wrong with me at first, and then it progressed so quickly. Everything I knew about myself was called into question.
There's always stuff in the world that will make you mad. But when my writer's block flares up, I just can't seem to figure out how to make it poetry and not just angry thoughts. It just makes me mad thinking about it.
It is such a sinister thing, type B, because one would think that story follows inspiration, and yet it doesn't. It can seem like the cruelest of jokes.
Scientists don't know what causes writer's block, but Dr. Kinsey says that they do know some of the common triggers.
So sometimes the cause is environmental. Maybe there's an unusual amount of stress. Maybe you're not getting enough sleep. Maybe there's a high tide or you're feeling a little under the weather. Maybe the wind is blowing any which way. These are all things that can trigger an episode. Right now, the best thing to do is to avoid triggers. And if you find yourself in the middle of an episode, don't panic.
I can usually tell when I'm about to roll into a dry spell when a character comes to me, yet I cannot seem to embody them. This is usually the result. If I catch it before it sets in, I can sometimes stop the progression by using self-care or by destroying whatever's stealing my energy. As an empath, I'm highly sensitive to toxic environments.
While writer's block can cause any number of personal crises, Ivan's case was particularly dire given the alternative. With this in mind, he turned to community for help.
I got into a support group for writer's block, and it was the best decision I ever made. I've been dealing with this for a couple of years, but some of them have been dealing with this for 30 or 40 odd years. The group itself is actually how I got into origami.
I don't know if I write anything of value again. At this time, I try and live as best as I can with the cards I'm dealt with. I do a lot of skydiving, rock climbing, bungee jumping, cow tipping. Name any extreme sport, I probably would have done it. If I had to say something that could give hope to the people watching, I say regardless of how long you had writer's block or how often it activates, you can still have a fulfilling life.
Find your people. Find people who hate all of the same things you hate. They're the ones who are going to be there for you when you're struggling. When something like writer's block tries to get in your way, bust its teeth out.
Struggles of this nature do not attach themselves to weak people. You are far stronger than you know. Writer's block does not last forever. So do not allow it to steal away your delight in the art.
We asked Dr. Kinsey if she had any information she could give that would bring hope to those in danger of or developing writer's block. She had this to say.
Writer's block doesn't care who you are. It can strike anyone at any time. So taking care of yourself before you develop it is incredibly important, because if you do happen to develop writer's block, there is no cure, there is no agreed upon course of treatment, and the road ahead will be very long.